Here's how to list books on Amazon FBA using a third-party listing software called Go2Lister. The first thing that you're going to see when you're here in the dashboard is your total batches, the total SKUs, the cost of goods, and the net profit. Now, what I'd recommend that you do is first you need to actually connect your Amazon account with Go2Lister. So the way that you're going to do that is go down to Profile, you're going to click Connection, and then there's just going to be this button for you to click that says Connect your Amazon account. It's going to take you to a separate page, and I think you just click one or two things. You basically just have to give the software listing permissions, and that's what that's for. After you're done with that, you're going to want to come down to batches here and open the settings here, and you're going to want to first connect your Dymo label printer. So you can see that I have my default Dymo label 4XL, and I also have the 30334 labels. So I have those linked down in the description if you want to pick any of those up. That's what I use, and it works really well for me. Now, you're going to have to connect your Dymo label printer for the first time. Basically, when you come to this page, you'll actually see that there'll be for Windows users or Mac users, and you're just going to click on Windows or Macs, whichever you have, and basically you're going to download the Dymo label software, and then you should be able to come back here, select the correct label writer, and you should be able to go and press test label. And when you do that, you'll actually see that my Dymo label printer printed out a test right here. Now, if you already see your Dymo label printer here and you press test label and nothing comes out, what I'd recommend that you do is uninstall your current Dymo software and then refresh the page, come back here, and then click on the for Windows users and then go ahead and reinstall it. The next thing that you're going to want to do is head on over here to the address, because you are going to have to tell Amazon where you're shipping your books from. So go ahead and enter your address, click the save button. Then you want to go ahead and add some item conditions. What I've done is have my default conditions set to good because most of my products are in good condition. But what you can do down here is type out any condition description that you want to save, something that you can use repeatedly. So you can see I added a couple here, and basically whenever you type a description out, you just press add and it's going to show up here. The next thing that you want to do is come over to the SKUs tab. Generally, it's a great idea to track each individual product. And the way that I like to do this is just using the list date, the cost, and the source. But basically, you can select up to 6 tags. These are the tags that I've selected because these are the ones that are helpful for me. Once you have that, you can click save. Then you're going to go over to the sources and listers. So you can see that I have a whole bunch of different ways that I source books. And it's really important for me to keep track of where I get each book, because later on when I do some analysis of my business, I can figure out what's working and what's not working. You can see that I went here and I added my sources, and then I just press add, and now they show up down here. And then for batch listers, if you have more than just one person, like if you have an employee who's also helping you out, you can go and put their name. You can see that I just have this defaulted to my name because I'm the only one listing. The next thing you're going to want to do is come over here to pricing rules, and you can see that there are currently 2 pricing rules. The first one is match the buy box. If you're not familiar with the term buy box, it's really simple. Basically, if you're an Amazon customer, whenever you come to any product listing, there's this box over here on the right. It's called the buy box, and generally there's a buy box for the new price and the used price. And right now, the rule match buy box would basically just mean that if you were to list this book, this Campbell biology book, it's going to match the buy box, which is $98.99. Basically, what you need to know about the buy box is that most people, when they come to an Amazon product listing page, they're generally going to open the buy box and buy the item there, even if they can get it a little bit cheaper by just looking at the used offers. Normally, people just buy with the buy box. Now, the other pricing rule that you can set up is actually something called smart pricing. And the theory behind this is that books that have lower ranks sell more frequently. So as a result of selling more frequently, it's probably better to price your book a little bit higher than just the buy box or just the first FBA offer, because it could be very likely that by the time your book gets to the Amazon warehouse, that 1 or 2 FBA sellers that were the lowest price could have actually sold out. And your price, if you were just matching the buy box, might be a little bit undervalued. So basically, the listing software says, hey, we're going to automatically price your book to be in FBA slot 4 if your rank's $125,000 or lower. So I think that's a really interesting feature, and I think this could be super helpful, especially for people who are new to selling on Amazon and they're not really sure how they should be pricing their book. You know me, I love analyzing keeper charts, so although I will use smart pricing, I definitely am going to change the price according to what I think I can sell the book for. Now that we got through all these settings, what we're going to do is actually create a batch. So you're going to see here under general, there's a create batch, and basically this process is super simple. You're going to say FBA or FBM. Personally, I'm doing fulfillment by Amazon, shipping to Amazon. I'm going to give it the batch name. So generally what I'm going to do is give the batch name the date that I'm shipping the books in. So right now it's December. I'm just going to say December 12th, 2022 batch. That lets me know that these books that I'm sending in were actually listed on December 12th. And you can see that I'm going to ship from my address here. And I'm also going to use a smart pricing rule, and it's going to be listed by me. And I'm going to go ahead and create batch, and that's how simple it is. Now you can see over here on the right, what we can do is we can start scanning in items with our barcode. We can give that item a condition. We can give it a source, a buy cost, a condition description, and then basically it'll print out a label for us.
For the purposes of this
tutorial, I am going to send in some books. So you can see here I have some textbooks that I'm going to send in. These are just normal books that should sell great during the January textbook season. I have a teaching Algebra 2.0 set. This is basically a 3-book set that has to go packaged together. This is kind of like a collectible set that I'm going to send in together. I have some, I believe this is manga. This is a 12-set Pokemon set. As you can see, these are all Pokemon XY books. I have a GMAT set as well. That's also I think a 10-book set. And then I have some Total Harmony books that I actually sourced on eBay from a big bookseller. Okay, so the real power of this software is that you can be James Bond, because literally you can list all these books like this. Okay, I just listed 7 or 8 books, and those are going to be listed using the smart pricing rule. So it should be clear that the major advantage that this software gives you is listing with lightning speed. The only downside, if you're an online arbitrage seller like me, is that if you do scan all your books in like that, basically they're all going to be the same condition, they're going to be the same buy cost, the same source. And so for me, I'm still going to have to go back and edit each listing. I'm still going to go one by one, just because I also like to pull up the keeper charts and look at them that way. I also like to price my books individually. But if you're somebody who's picking up books from library stores, you're picking them up for free, like you're buying them in bulk and you're getting them from the same source, from the same buy cost, and you're basically just going to condition them all the same. Literally, this would be the fastest listing software out there. You could probably scan through like 40, 50 books in a minute. You have all the labels out, like you could put them all in a box. It'd be so quick. Now for me, again, I'm an online arbitrage seller, so I'm gonna have to go through each individual listing. So let's go do that now. Let's go and start with the easy stuff, which are just the books that are not part of any set. They're just individual books, and I'll go ahead into the computer and show you how to list those right now. All right, the first book that we're gonna list is this racial and ethnic relations book. One thing that you'll notice is that at the top, there's a little bit of wear, also at the bottom there. So ideally, this is not the best conditioned book, and even has a little bit of underlining in it, but this is something that I'd still definitely say is acceptable. I'm going to put some tape over the top here, the top binding and the bottom binding, just so that it looks a lot cleaner. But this is going to be definitely an acceptable copy. I'm going to go and put the source there. I'm going to put my buy cost 1184. Cover and or spine shows moderate to heavy wear, does not include access code or other associated media. And basically all I need to do is press search, and then it's basically going to queue it up here. My Dymo label printer is going to print out a label, and then all I'm going to do is put it on the back of this barcode. Now notice that this book actually has 3 barcodes. So what I'm going to need to do is make sure that all of those are covered up. So I'm actually going to put a couple other barcodes on the sides here as well, just so that there's only one barcode there that Amazon can scan. All right, so you can see that the smart pricing rule priced our book at $42.97. So all you would need to do is figure out whether or not you're happy with that price or not. So for me, what I would do is just click on this image here. That's going to open up the actual listing here on Amazon. And then I'll take a look at the keeper chart. And basically all I need to determine is, am I okay? Am I happy with that price? If I am, I'll just leave it like that. If I'm not, then I'll go ahead and edit it. In this case, I'm happy with the price and I'm going to leave it at that. Again, I do have a repricer called Be Cool, where I set a min and a max price, and my book will be repriced using that software. But I'm okay with this price here. Let's go ahead and move on to the next book. Here's the second book. It's Drug Abuse. You can see I entered in the ISBN there. I'm going to put good, and the source here is going to be OfferUp. Buy cost was $13.43. My condition description is just clean, crisp pages with no highlighting or annotation markings. And then again, listed by me. I'm going to go ahead and press search. That's going to add it to the queue. Again, smart pricing is going to give this a price for me. And then all I'm going to do is confirm whether or not I think that price is legitimate or not. And we'll go from there. So you can see that is giving a price of $113.63. Let's go ahead and click on the listing and scroll down to the keep chart price that we're happy with. Now in this case, you can actually see that it looks like there's 11 offers from $73.64. So it's definitely not perfect by any means. I would say generally it's pretty correct, but it's not correct all the time. Let's go and look at the new offers, and let's look at the new prime offers, because basically the new prime offers are as high as we're going to be able to go. So it looks like $94 from prime deals. There's 4 of them in stock there. So let's go ahead and undercut that by a little bit. Let's also look at some of the used prices as well to see where the prime prices are at. So it looks like 86 is the cheapest price, and then it goes up to 98. So the one thing that we also have to consider is that even though the prime new price was at 94, there are also new third-party sellers that are at $73.84 and $74 there. So the buy box here is for a new book at $78.22. So what I would do is just undercut that price a little bit, just so that we can try to win the used buy box. So what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and price mine at $75, and I think we can go from there. So I'm going to edit my price here and update to 75, update there, and that should go and update as we see there. Label's already printed out for me, so I'm just going to take the label, this label here, that's going to go right on the back of the barcode. Again, this is another book that has multiple barcodes, so I'm going to put this label over and try to cover both, and then I'm just going to put this empty label over that one there to cover it. All right, the third book we're going to list is this social inequality book here. I went ahead and scanned in the ISBN there. The source was eBay. Condition is going to be good here. The buy cost was $7.97. Clean, crisp pages with no highlighter or annotation markings. Does not include an access code or other associated media. And I'm just going to go ahead and press search. That's going to add it to the queue, and that's going to populate here so that we can go ahead and open up the listing and also look at what Smart Pricing gave us. So by the way, our Dymo label printer just printed out the label for us. You can see that Smart Pricing gave us a $29.11 price. Let's go and open up the listing to see what that looks like. And by the way, what is the rank on this? So the rank's 957,000. So Smart Pricing might not actually even, we'd have to go back and look at the triggers, but I'm pretty sure actually at that sales rank, I think it's just going to basically match the buy box. Yeah, 29.11 is just matching the buy box. Okay, what's really interesting about this book is that just really recently, this book has kind of undergone a little bit of a repricing war. It was holding strong around $40, and now it's come down to $24.97. But if we look at the previous textbook season, it was selling for around $80. In August and September, it was around like the $40 to upwards of $59.99. And right now, the new price from Amazon is $71.95. So definitely that's going to be the ceiling for us to price at. But if we take a look at some of the offers, it looks like there's only about 3 or 4 offers until we get back up to 40. So I guarantee you that those people are going to sell out. It's not even textbook season yet, but when it is, those are going to be the first people to sell out. I went ahead and selected Prime here. Looks like we have maybe 5 Prime sellers until we get to 53. Then we go to 57, 60, 74. So then only a couple more and we get up to 74. Now, because this book sells so frequently in the textbook season, I'm actually going to price a little bit higher. I'm probably going to price mine right around 65, but I'll again use a repricer. I'll probably set a min price for like 50, max price $69.99, something like that. But let's just go ahead and put $65. We'll edit the price here. We'll put 65. Again, my Dymo label printer already printed out the label for us. So all we're going to do is take this label, and that's going to go right on the back of the book, right over the barcode like that. And that's another book listed. All right, the next book that we're going to list is a social work book. Here it is. Now, on the back, it's kind of dirty. It looks like there's some coffee stains. I don't know if you can see that, but up here, there's some coffee stains. What I do when I have books like that, I just have a little spray bottle that has isopropyl alcohol in it. I'll just go ahead and spray it on the area where it looks a little icky. Then I just use a microfiber cloth and just go ahead and wipe it off just to make it look a little bit cleaner, a little bit more presentable. And that's just so that you don't get a bad feedback. All right, so I did that. Looks all good now. And otherwise, this book is actually in really good condition. The pages are super clean. There's no writing. There's no highlighting. I'm gonna actually list this in good condition. All right, so I have the ISBN in here. I'm gonna go ahead and list this in good condition. The source was eBay. The buy cost was $27.99. Same thing, clean, crisp pages, no highlighter or annotation markings. I'm gonna go ahead and press search, and now this is gonna go ahead and add it to our batch. Now, one thing that you'll notice is that this is going to start tallying how many items we have, the total number of SKUs or the individual products. It's going to give us the buy cost, and then it's going to give us our estimated profit. So the cool thing is that while you enter books, you get to see how much you spent, also how much potential profit there is. That printed out a barcode, and again, we're just going to put that on the back of the book. Okay, our next listing is actually not an individual book. It's actually a 3-book set. This is a pre-algebra teaching textbook 2.0. These, if you have the full set, go for pretty good money. I'm pretty sure they can go for like 70 to 100 depending on, which set it is. But basically, there's a teaching textbook. There's also an answer key and a test bank. And the most important valuable part of this is the CD set. So you can see if I open this up, we should have all the CDs there, all the discs there, and you can see all the discs are there. Now, in terms of how I'm going to ship this in, I'm going to use just a clear poly bag like this. This is a 14 by 10 or 14 by 11. I'll link it down in the description if you want to pick them up. But basically, all I'm going to do is put all 3 of these into this poly bag. I'm going to go and seal it off, and then we can go ahead and list it as a set. It fits perfectly snug. You can see that if I turn it over, it's all in the poly bag. It's ready to go. And this poly bag already has the suffocation warning label on the back. If you have poly bags that don't have that, you're going to need a suffocation label warning sticker, but these bags that I'll link down below already come with that. Now, in terms of condition, I just went ahead and put good. The source was eBay. The buy cost was $36.84. I had to make a custom description for this one because it is a set. So I said complete set, the book, the CD-ROMs, and the answer key. And basically, I just copied that from the actual listing here. So You can see that the listing says everything that it comes with. Basically, whenever you're selling books in a set, you want to let them know that it comes with everything there, because if you don't, the buyer, the customer might not know if they're getting everything, and they might not buy because of that reason. So I found that be as descriptive as possible, but also, don't write a complete essay, just to the point what it comes with. And then again, listed by me, I went ahead and pressed search, print out the label, which I just showed you. And then you can see that the price automatically was set to $138. I'm going to go ahead and double check that by opening up the listing. Right now, it looks like the buy box is $138. So it looks like it's just matching the buy box. I'm using smart pricing, but again, smart pricing is really only going to work for books that have really good sales rank. I think it's like sub 500,000 and lower. This is a 2 million rank, which means it doesn't sell very often. But clearly, if you take a look at the Keeper chart, it does definitely sell. I see that the highest this book could have sold for is about 140. It could be actually higher if it was an Amazon Prime offer. But basically, 130, 140, that seems like a range that we could quite easily get. I'm happy just matching the buy box. So I'm happy with the pricing from Go2Lister there. And again, I already printed out a label. Let's move on to the next book. Our next listing is actually a set of books. This is a 12-set manga series, Pokemon. And I'm going to show you a couple of different options you have to go ahead and package this up. The first one is just to use some of the saran wrap. I'll go ahead and link this down below. Basically, you just wrap this all around. Now, what's really important, though, is that you would have to put a warning, keep away from children. The thin film may cling to the nose and mouth. Basically, a warning label, suffocation warning label. And then you'd also have to apply a sold as set, do not separate, so they don't take it apart and think that each individual one of these products is a listing. The other thing that you could do if you saran wrap it is you can actually get a combo one. This is a set and a warning suffocation label together, so you could slap that on. And if that doesn't work, you could also use a poly bag. I have a poly bag here that's way too small for it, but you could use a poly bag, or you could put it in a box, and then what you would just do is apply the label to either the saran wrap or you'd apply it to the box. But I'm going to go ahead and do a box set in the next listing, so let's just go ahead and saran wrap it just to show you what that would look like. It's all saran wrapped. You can see I have the sticker. I'm just going to put that right on the top. Well, extra, if you didn't have this duo set, what you could do is just take one of these, put it on there, and then you also could take one of those, put it right below it. And then lastly, all you're going to need to do is put the barcode right over the top here. Just flip it around, and then we're going to go ahead and put the label right over the barcode like that, and that's good to go. So this 14 book set I bought on eBay for $27.33. Complete set includes volumes 1 through 12, but does not come with the original slipcase. Ships directly from Amazon. Now, I actually got pretty unlucky with this book. Let me show you why. You'll notice that when we open this listing that you can buy this from Amazon for $49.63. So you're thinking, Joji, why would you buy a used 14 book set with no slipcover for $27 if you could buy it new for $49? How are you going to make any money? Well, at the time when I bought it, look at the Keeper chart. Amazon was not on the listing at all. Now, I knew that this was a risk going into this buy, though, because when I took a look at the Keeper chart, this was basically when I bought it back here at the, I bought this at beginning of November. You can see that this was what the Keeper chart looked like. So buying it for $27 looked like a great deal at the time, but I didn't know that in the past Amazon's on the listing for about $30 to $40 in brand new condition. So I knew that if Amazon ever comes back on the listing, I'm basically screwed. You can see that Amazon has, it says there's an error here, but I'm pretty sure the last time I checked it was 1,000 in stock. So I have two options. Either I can sit this on my shelf for a long time, wait for Amazon to sell out. What I could do is actually track the product, and I can go ahead and track this to say, one thing I can do is say when the used price gets to $65 or more, then send me an email notification. And then that would let me know that maybe I can send it back in. So either I can sit it on my shelf and wait for Amazon and a third party to sell out, which could never happen, by the way. Or what I can do is just try to sell it for $43.74 and lose a little bit of money, which is what I'm going to try to do. This is another multi-volume set that we're going to list. This is a GMAT set. I actually made a video about buying each of these individual books and lotting them up together to see if we can make money doing that. And in this case, instead of using SRAM wrap, I'm just going to use a 12 by 9 by 6 box, because that would basically fit a book perfectly in terms of the dimensions of 12 by 9 by 6. So let me go and make the box, put them in there, and I'll show you what it looks like. The books fit perfectly in the box, but not necessarily the height. So you do want to have some packing material. So you have a couple of options. If you get a lot of Amazon packages, I'm sure you have a lot of this bubble wrap. So you could use that bubble wrap. In my experience, if there's a lot of empty space, these tend to get popped easily. So I generally don't like to use those at all. If you have other type of bubble wrap like this, then those would probably work a little bit better than the Amazon ones. or if you get Amazon products, a lot of times they give you craft paper, and you could use a craft paper, and that's what I'm going to use. It fits nice and snug like that, which is great, because now when I go and close this up, it's going to be nice and tight. There's going to be no rattling. The set is all boxed up, so we have a couple of options. Either we can use the same, this is a set, and warning suffocation labels. I mean, nothing's gonna happen if you use that. Technically, you only need this sold as a set, do not separate. So I'm just gonna put one right here, and then I'm gonna put one on the other side as well. And then also we have the actual label right there that I'm gonna put over the top. So let's go and do that first. I'm gonna go ahead and take that off, put the label there. Okay, so the label is now stuck on. You can see I have the sold as set, do not separate. I also put one on the back as well. And the reason for that is when we put all of our books in one single box, we just don't want an employee to slip this box open thinking there's more individual products in there. We're telling Amazon this is a single set which has one SKU. So go ahead and scan the SKU, and that's going to be our volume set. Now, I still have a number of books left to list, but I'm pretty sure you understand the concept of how you scan in the ISBN, how you give it a condition, you tell it what your source is, you also say how much you bought it for, you give it a description. Basically, it prints out a label, you take the label, put it on the back. I also try to show you a little bit about how to deal with box sets and some other scenarios where you might have to saran wrap stuff. So what I'm going to do is actually just finish up listing all the items, and then what I'm going to show you is how to put them all in a box and send them to Amazon. All right, so here are all the books that I've gone ahead and listed. You can see that all of them have their own barcode on them. If I flip this over, you'll see that this has a barcode on the back. So they're basically all labeled. All I need to do is put them in boxes, and you can see that the boxes that I like to use are these 15 by 12 by 10 boxes. They come from Walmart. I'm pretty sure they're like $1 each or super cheap. And I'm gonna go ahead and start building the boxes and putting these in there. Hopefully it's pretty self-explanatory, but basically I'm just gonna build the box. I'm just gonna put some tape down the middle, some tape on the sides, then I'm gonna flip it over, and that's where we're gonna put the book. Now I definitely over-tape my boxes, but that's just because this represents about $800 of books that I've actually spent on product. And also the profit on this is going to be about $1,500. So I'm okay spending a little extra money on tape just because, at least for the books that I'm selling, they're high dollar books. I don't want the package to get lost or get damaged in any way. So I actually use a lot of tape, and I'll show you right now. It's well loved with tape all over the place. So even down the middle that way, crisscross this way, a couple of tape down the side. So I really make sure that I tape mine up well so that they can all arrive at the warehouse. Now, what I'm going to do is just go ahead and start putting some books into this box. What I generally like to do is take the book, and I like to put the spine down like this. This is not the only way to do it, and it's not necessarily the best way to do it, but I like to just kind of stack the books up on the side and then go ahead and put some filler in there so that there's no rattling. The best way to do this is just to use craft paper. So this craft paper you can buy on Amazon, super cheap. I want to say it's like under $15 for a big roll, and you can basically use that as void fill. What you don't want to use are peanuts or plastic bags or anything like that. You want to just use craft paper. That's going to be the cheapest. Also, that's just gonna basically be per Amazon guidelines. That should be bubble wrap, or it should be paper like this. You're gonna need a scale because the package or each box cannot be more than 50 pounds. So I'm gonna go ahead and link that below. And I also use this for my tape, so I'll link that below if you want that as well. But you definitely do need a scale in order to weigh this. But let's go ahead and put some of this void fill in there so that this package is completely secure and it's ready to ship off. Here's the final product with all of the craft paper in there. You can see I actually don't have that much left here. So this is nice and tightly packed. And when I go ahead and fold this over, this is going to be nice and snug so that, basically it's very firm, like you can't even press down on it. And that's just going to ensure that the box has the best chance of getting there to the warehouse. And again, this is super important, getting your books or whatever products are safely, because, again, this represents like $2,000 worth of books. So it's really important that it gets there safely. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing, just tape very securely here. I'm gonna use extra tape, and then we'll move on to the next box. Box number 1 is all packaged up. Let's go ahead and put these in a second box. The process is gonna be exactly the same. I went ahead and built the box here. I'm gonna go and start by putting these in there, and then I'll go ahead and start putting these in with the actual spine down. And then at some point I'm gonna have to put these 2 boxes in there as well. These have do not separate stickers in them, which means that there's actually a book set in here. So I don't want Amazon to actually rip that box open. I want it to be sold as this box, and I want that to be shipped to the customer like that. But I'm thinking that this is probably gonna be at least 2 more boxes, maybe not 3. And actually, let's just try to put these boxes in first and see if we can fit any of those things in there. And by the way, one of the reasons why I like to use the 15 by 12 by 10 boxes is because I use these 12 by 9 by 6 boxes, which fit pretty much perfectly in these boxes here. These 12 by 9 by 6 boxes I use to put sets in. And if you ever have a volume set that's like 2, 3, 4, 5 books, usually they'll fit in this really well. and you can see that they're going to fit nice and snugly in here. So I'm going to go ahead and put the other one in, and then we'll go ahead and probably put those loose leaves in there. I put one box on each side just to distribute the weight evenly. I put the loose leaf in there. That's actually one paperback. And then these two books should go perfectly on top. So let's go ahead and put physics book there. Let's put the contemporary sociological theory. I'm going to put the spines back towards each other, just so that if they're facing together, they can often like ride up like this on each other. But if the spines are facing each other like that, usually that's okay. And you can see that basically this is almost like a perfect fit. There is a little bit of space here. So of course, I'm going to go ahead and use some void fill to get that all set up. And then I'll go and box it up. The second box is all done. And this is what we have left. Hopefully that fits in a third box. I think it should, so let's go ahead and do that. This is the third box, and you can clearly see that there's a lot of void space here. So I'm gonna have to use a whole bunch of this craft paper to fill this empty space. And once I have that filled out, we'll go over how to get all the weights for these three boxes, input each of their dimensions, and then we'll go over how to actually generate the shipping label, how to slap that on the box, and then also how to schedule UPS pickup at your house. This thing is stuffed with void fill. Ideally, I'd have a smaller box, but this is all I had for right now. Let's go ahead and package this up. Box number 3 is now done, and you can see that they clearly stand each other's weight, which is what you want them to do, right? Because these, again, carry $2,000 worth of books in them. So let's go ahead and weigh them and slap the labels on. Box 1's gonna be 30 pounds. What I like to do is just write it up here. So I'm gonna write 30 pounds right here, and this is actually where I'm just gonna put the label over, but 30 pounds. All of these are the same dimensions, so this is also going to be, I'm just going to call this my box 3. Generally, I like to make the lightest box the last box, and then let's go ahead and do the same for box 1 and 2. Box number 2 looks like it's 35 pounds, so I'm going to go ahead and just write that right here, 35 pounds. Okay, and this is going to be box 2, and let's go and do box 1. Box number 1 is 42 pounds, so this is definitely the heaviest of the two, so I'm going to go and write 42 pounds. And this is gonna be my box number 1. And the reason why I'm labeling each box is because when I get a shipping label, basically I have to put the correct shipping label on each box. I'm officially all done with listing all the items. You can see I have 28 SKUs and a total of 32 items. The total buy cost was $730.68, and the total profit, or at least the projected profit based upon what I'm listing the books at, is going to be $1,708.48. Now what I need to do is actually submit this batch to Amazon so that I can actually go through Amazon, create the shipping labels, and send all the books to Amazon's warehouse. The way that I'm going to do that is just come over here and click Send Batch on Go2Lister, and that's going to send the feed, submit it over to Amazon. So you can see that this is actually going to go to 2 different warehouses. So one shipment's going to go to Phoenix. That's going to be 2 products. The other one's going to go to this other place. Not really sure what that is, but that's going to be 30 books there. And you can see that I'm going to be the one doing the prep, and I'm going to be doing the seller label. Then all I'm going to do is press accept shipments. And now this information is going to be submitted over to Amazon FBA. And I'm going to be able to go to Amazon Seller Central and actually finish the shipment. Your information has been sent to Amazon. Please finish your shipment there. I'm going to go ahead and click finish shipment. Now that I'm over here in Amazon Seller Central, we just need to go ahead and complete the shipment process. So I'm going to come over here to the top left. I'm going to go ahead down to where I see inventory. I'm going to scroll down to where I see shipments. I'm going to click shipments. And what you're going to notice is that now I have both those shipments that we just created in Go2Lister. You can see that they both say working here. So the way that we're going to work on the shipment is simply just clicking this work on shipment button. And we're going to go ahead and work on the 30 book shipment first. And we're going to go all the way through this. So you can see that under prepare shipment, it's going to tell us where we're shipping the books from, where we're shipping the books to, also what the shipment contents are. And what we can do under review shipment contents is we can actually review and modify the units. So what I could do is go ahead and click on this button. And then let's say any of these books I wanted to take out of the listing for whatever reason, I could go ahead and press this little X button. If I wanted to increase the number of units I had of that product as well, I could come over here and I can change that to a 2 or a 3 or whatever I want. Okay, so I'm going to hide the units now. Under shipping service, I'm going to go and click small parcel delivery, and I'm going to pick Amazon partner carrier. I'm going to scroll all the way down where it says box content information. And from here, we have to just basically tell it that we're going to have more than 1 SKU per box. In other words, we don't have one box that has 15 of the same item. We have one box that has multiple different items, multiple different books in it. Now, what I'm going to do is actually just skip the box content information and apply manual processing fee. So I yet haven't found out a great way to do any of these things very quick and very efficiently so that it would actually save me enough time to make this $9 that I would save worth it. So for me, $9 is, worth paying just to be able to go on to the next step. What I need to do down here is actually set the total number of boxes. Okay, so the good thing about skipping the box count information is that you don't have to tell Amazon which product is going in each box. You can just kind of put them all randomly in different boxes, and then you would just come up here and say how many boxes that you have. So now under the total number of boxes, I'm going to go ahead and put 3, set the number of boxes there. And All of these were 15 by 12 by 10, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put that in there at the top because they're all the same dimensions. Box number 1 was 42 pounds, box number 2 was 35 pounds, and box number 3 was 30 pounds. So you can see in total I have 107 pounds. And I'm going to come down here and click this calculate button. And Amazon Seller Central is going to tell me how much it's going to cost to send these books in. And you can see that the total shipping cost is $30, $29.30. So if you think about that, that's about 30 cents a pound, which is actually really good. I mean, if you've ever gone to FedEx or UPS and you wanted to ship something that was like 5 pounds, at the post office, they charge you a crazy amount of money. So this is actually a really great deal. This shipment has 30 different books in it, which means that I'm basically paying just under $1 a book to ship it into Amazon's warehouse, which is an amazing deal. I'm going to click this, I agree to the Amazon partner carrier terms and conditions. I'm going to accept the charges. And this is going to generate the shipping labels that we can use to put on the box. I'm going to ship this on January 2nd. So I'm going to click the ship date there, print the box labels. And you'll see that it actually brings me to the PDF here. This has all my information on it, where it's shipping from, which is my address, where it's going to be shipping to, and it has it for all 3 boxes. You can see here on the left, box 1, box 2, box 3. So all I'm going to do is right click and press print. I'm going to print it with my brother printer, and I'm just going to press print. And from there, all I have to do is take each of these labels, tape them onto the boxes, and then we can go schedule a pickup on Pirate Ship. You can see this is what the shipping label looks like. You can see this says box 1 of 3, 42 pounds. All you need to do is cut out on this black border. And also for this one, just go ahead and cut a border around it, and then we can tape them on the box. You can see that I posted both labels here in the box, and I did so that it's not overlapping where the slit is, because when Amazon receives this package, the employees actually get a slit right down this mark here. And that's important because if you have your shipping label over that, Amazon's actually going to slit through this, and they're not going to be able to easily scan your barcodes here to know that this belongs to you. So your inventory might be stranded a little bit longer. So it's just really important that when you tape it on, that you give it some room away from this, tape it right here, and then that should be good to go. All right, that's all done now. All we have to do is just repeat the same process on boxes 2 and boxes 3, and then we can schedule the UPS pickup. Shipping labels have been affixed to box 2 and 3, so let's go over to Pirate Ship and let's schedule our UPS pickup at our front door. But before we do that, something we should take note of is the total box weight, which is 107 pounds. That's going to be important for the UPS pickup. And then what we can do is scroll down to the bottom. Since we've already printed the box labels and affixed them to the boxes, we can click here, complete shipment. All that's left to do is to take your boxes and either to drop them off at UPS, which means you're gonna have to load all those heavy boxes into your car, drive to UPS, drop them off, wait in line if it's necessary, and then drive all the way back home. In other words, depending on how close you are to UPS, that could take you anywhere from 15 minutes to 30 minutes to an hour or so. What I would much prefer to do is just come to a website called pirateship.com. What you're gonna need to do is create a free account if you don't already have one. But once you do have an account, you can come here to the middle button that says schedule a pickup. You can click that. And up here at the top right, you're going to click request pickup, and you're going to select UPS. Now, it's going to give you the pickup location, which should be your address. You're going to say what date you want it to be picked up. I'm going to have them pick it up, not today because there's actually not enough time left today for them to pick it up. But the next earliest business day is the 2nd, which is going to be January 2nd of 2023. 9 a.m. is the earliest time. I'm going to see if they can come a little bit earlier. So let's say 1 p.m. I don't know if they'll let us do that or not, but we'll see. And we're going to say this is going to be picked up at the front door. We're picking up UPS packages. There's going to be 3 of them. And you remember how I told you to remember the total weight of all your boxes? That's where you're going to put this in for the estimated total weight, which is 107 pounds. None of them are over 70 pounds. And you can see that I'm going to be billed $4. And think about that time savings. It's only $4. And I'm definitely going to save myself $4 between gas, between travel, between the time and the hassle, all that stuff. So clearly worth $4 for them to pick up 107 pounds of boxes. And by the way, I live on the 2nd story of an apartment complex, so I would have to carry 100 pounds down, but now I don't. So I'm just going to click request the pickup. All right, for some reason, they weren't able to pick it up on Monday, so it looks like they're going to be able to pick it up on Tuesday, which is 1/3/2023, which is okay with me, saves me the trip. I'll just have to remember to put those out there on the 3rd. All right, everybody, well, that officially wraps up the entire process from taking books that you need to send to Amazon, using Go2Lister, which is a third-party listing software to actually list the books, and submit that feed over to Amazon, go through the whole process of putting the books into boxes, and even scheduling a $4 UPS pickup so that you can get your books into the warehouse and do it really simply. So I do have an affiliate link for Go2Lister. So if you want to use that for the free 7-day trial, then go ahead and use that down below. And if you want to learn how to source profitable books like the ones I showed you here when I was using the Go2Lister software, then check out some of these other videos about how to buy books using online arbitrage.